There are so many scriptures in the Bible that through the years I've read it and I've quoted it and I've heard it in sermons and I know it, but I never grasped the full reality of the meaning and the purpose of the scripture. So today is one of those scriptures that I hold very close to my heart, and this means such a lot to me. Someone prophesied this to my husband before I even met Kobus van Rensburg. And he said, you will be like a watered garden where the waters fail not. And it's even like after his death, the waters of God is still feeding people all over the world. It's like I listen to his sermons and I'm like, why didn't I even get it those days? So the garden is a place that's going to be watered. And when you step into the purposes of God, you become, Psalm 84, how blessed are those whose lives become the road he travels. So whatever you do is an everlasting work. And you will also be called the repairer of the breach. Kobus wrote this prophecy in one of his Bibles. And when we got married, we read it together many times. And I think it's literally another 3 or 4 big services where there were prophets in the 70s, in the 80s, prophets in the 80s. They called us out, and I remember it's 2,000, 3,000 people, and they would call us out and they would give us exactly the same prophecy. You will be called the restorer of roads, the repairer of the breach. Now, every time something went wrong in my life, I would take the prophecy, read it, hold it, put it, just held the Bible. And yet I never understood what is really being said to us. And I actually made a big board of it, and I put this in the church. And for everybody, it's like I called this prophecy because he says everybody that will be from you will be called this. And I realized that our ministry has this calling. So I want to take you right to the prophecy. And he says, and the Lord shall guide thee continually and satisfy your soul in drought and make fat your bones, and thou shalt be like a watered garden and like a spring of water whose waters fail not. When Kobus died, I couldn't understand how could he have died, because he's preaching immortality and I was preaching in Dubai, and people took me to a restaurant. It was like it's away from the city of Dubai, right in the desert, like it's all desert all around. It was beautiful. And this man woke up and he said to me that he has a prophecy to me, but he'll give it to me in time. So we waited till we sat down. Well, we were laying down, sitting down, eating. It is so gorgeous. And he turned around and he said to me, you will be like a watered garden where the waters fail not, in the middle of a desert. And I'm like, God, what is this? And I've been carrying this, and this is like, so I don't know if I'm preaching to you guys or I'm preaching to me, but this is very close to me. You will be like a watered garden whose waters fail not. So where did the garden start? In the beginning, God planted a garden. And there was a river coming from Eden, and it broke out in 4 rivers, and it supplied the garden with water. So when Adam left this garden, this water supply was stopped, and they found themselves in a desert. This is Israel. Their whole journey is in a desert, in a wilderness, and there was no water. But God in this situation says to him, you will be like a watered garden whose waters fail not. So this is also a prophecy on every one of us that understand the Spirit and receive the Spirit and live by the Spirit. You will be like a watered garden whose waters fail not. And not even death can stop that. My husband died, but I'm telling you, he's still watering other people. Wow. Verse 12, he says, and they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places. You will build waste places. You will raise up the foundations of many generations. Many generations talk to me as a spiritual journey. And you will be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of paths to dwell in. What? This is like too much. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure and the holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord of honorable, and you shall honor him, and not doing your own ways. All these things will come to you if you keep the Sabbath and you do not do your own ways and your own words. Now, keeping the Sabbath is like, it's not a problem if you understand the Spirit, because Jesus came and he said, I'm the Lord of the Sabbath. So if you step into him, you keep his words. It's not your words. It's his doing. It's not your doing. Now, we have to understand the prophets were speaking like this. Then shall you delight yourself in the Lord, and he will cause thee to ride upon high places of the earth and feed you with the heritage of Jacob. So we need to understand what is the high places of the earth and what is the heritage of Jacob. Now, the heritage of Jacob we find in Genesis 31, where he left Laban, and all Laban's sons came and said to Laban, Jacob has taken all your glory. In other words, he was blessed beyond measure. So the heritage of Jacob was like everybody that cheated him and tried to outwit him and steal from him. God blessed him in spite of everything. The spottish and the speckles. Those things that people look down to, God uses to confound the wise. And he will take you from a place of low life and he'll make you ride in the high places.